Just a second, I'm just getting started. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Um, welcome anybody who hasn't seen me on here before. My name is Deborah Heiser. I'm an applied developmental psychologist, and I am on here talking about. Hold on, I'm gonna try to get. I keep going off screen, and ooh, whoops! I just did something. Hold on a second. Let me start over. Okay, so I think that we're good now, right? Yeah. All right. Um, my name is Deborah Heiser. I'm an applied developmental psychologist. I specialize in midlife and aging, but most of what I talk about every day when I come on live is applicable for anyone. And so today, I'm really excited to talk with you about what motivates us to do things, and why do we do things. And part of this is talked about in the Mentorship Edge, which I wrote. So if you are interested in finding out, why do we mentor and, you know, what's the definition of mentoring and all of that, you can find that in the Mentorship Edge. You can also read about most of what I talk about in Psychology Today. I'm a Psychology Today contributor and on my Substack page. So today I'm talking about what makes us do things like pay it forward, what makes us do the things that really are seemingly to be just altruistic. Like, what would make us do those things, like mentor or volunteer, or to pay it forward when we see, the need to move the needle forward with something? What makes us do that? And the thing that does that is intrinsic motivation, which is really the backbone for a lot of what we do. So, intrinsic motivation is something that comes from within us. It's something that we would do for no pay. No one even needs to know we're doing it. It makes us really happy. So, if you're somebody who really enjoys reading, somebody doesn't need to, remind you to do it. You're going to do it because you like it. If you play an instrument, no one has to say, hey, go play your instrument if it's something that you enjoy, or if you like creating art, or whatever you do that you really enjoy that no one needs to remind you to do. This is this is what intrinsic motivation is. When we talk about extrinsic motivation, these are the things like getting paid to do something, when we are expecting a reward or an award of some sort. If you're a student, this is getting a grade. This is when they take attendance and you get credit for that. If you're at work, it's a performance evaluation. So when we're doing something that we really love, we're doing it because we're intrinsically motivated to do it. There's no other reason for that. And a lot of people have said, hey, there are all kinds of things that I like to do. Um, but they're like, gee, I wonder where that motivation comes from. So, really think about everything that you really enjoy doing. If there's any kind of hobby that you have, any kind of um, a- any kind of activity that you enjoy. Maybe you like doing puzzles or crossword puzzles, or you enjoy giving back. This is a big one. Um, you're doing that because of intrinsic motivation, because the second you would get paid for that, it wouldn't feel good. So let me give you an example of what this could look like with intrinsic motivation versus extrinsic motivation. Every semester that I teach, I ask students to raise their hand if they would like to volunteer to give food and beverage to hungry and thirsty people at a soup kitchen. And they all raise their hand. And they say, I'd like to do it. It would make me feel good. I would enjoy doing it. And so I say, okay, great. Now let's pretend you're on your way to the soup kitchen to go spend several hours giving out food and beverage to hungry, thirsty people. But while you're on your way, I call you and I say, "Hey, instead of going to the soup kitchen, turn left and go to Starbucks and volunteer your time there, giving out food and beverage behind the counter to all the hungry, thirsty people that are coming in." And all the students say, "I wouldn't do that." And I say, "Why?" And they say, "Because I'd feel taken advantage of it. It doesn't feel like a good thing to go volunteer my time at Starbucks. Everybody else is getting paid and I'm not. And I really wanted to go do something that made me feel good. I felt good about going and volunteering my time for something that felt really worthy." So that is the difference. If you feel like you should be getting compensated for something, that's an extrinsic motivator. Nothing wrong with that. But if you are doing something purely because you enjoy it, and you would do it whether somebody knew or didn't, whether, you were going to get credit or not, that's intrinsic motivation. So we are built to do this in midlife. We're built to sort of go off of our intrinsic motivation to do some of the things that we all think about and know about and hear about all the time, but it sometimes can be a little mixed up in how we think about it. And one of those things is mentoring. We often hear about people saying, I charge for mentoring. That's not mentoring. That's something else, but it's not mentoring. You do not get paid to mentor. Volunteering is the same. You don't get paid to volunteer. So these sorts of things are things that we feel really good about. We want to do it. And we just have to make sure that we're labeling them properly when we're engaging in them so that we're not missing out on the feel-good experience that we're looking for. So we're embarking right now on the holiday season that's coming up, where we really love to pay it forward. We love to do things. It's even called the giving season. So November and December are when most people are really excited about giving. And this is the time that you can tap into your intrinsic motivation. This season where we're already primed to want to give, to do things that make the world a better place just because we want to. It makes us feel good. It might tap into family traditions that we have. It might tap into culture or values, whatever that is. That's when we can really harness intrinsic motivation and think of the ways that we want to give. Most of us think of giving in the holiday season as giving money, giving goods, like buying toys or giving goods that people can use. But you don't have to have money or means or things that you can give to tap into your intrinsic motivation. Even during the giving season, there's so much that we can all do to pay it forward and tap into our intrinsic motivation and feel really good. Now, hold on. I have to just Now, this is something that, if we're thinking about the holiday season, the end of the year, all of that, and we're trying to say, gee, I'd like to tap into my intrinsic motivation, think about it. This doesn't have to be just now, but take right now and how you might be thinking to yourself, I'd love to be able to give in some way or to feel like I'm able to have some kind of a pay it forward moment, get into the whole giving season. So, some ways that you can do that is to maybe volunteer. There's so many opportunities. You don't have to give money. You don't have to give um, your, goods or anything like that. But you can do things like volunteer. There's so many places that can use volunteers to help with things. It doesn't have to be, a food pantry or something like that. It could be anything and anywhere. You could volunteer to do things like watch somebody's children for them so they can go out and do some shopping. All these sorts of things, you would just tap into your own intrinsic motivation. What gets you going that makes you feel good like you matter and are making a difference, while at the same time not needing to be extrinsically rewarded for it, meaning getting money or a reward, or that you're expecting something in return from somebody else. So one thing is you can volunteer, get out and, make some time to be around people that can really utilize some of your skills. Maybe you have specific skills that you really enjoy. You can even teach people things. You can get out there and mentor people. This is the perfect time of year to do that, where you're mentoring people in your traditions, your values, your culture, whatever it is. And you can stop into classrooms and do that. You can go into senior centers and do that. You can go to nursing homes, hospitals, all kinds of places and do some of this, which is so helpful to so many. I remember being in a hospice hospital when my father-in-law was at the end of his life, and there were so many people that came in and volunteered their time, and they would do crafts with people. And the visitors that were there really benefited from a lot of this, because they were able to come in and relax and do something, instead of just sitting around. And those volunteers made it so possible for people to feel connected in a different way. So you can find all sorts of different places to connect and utilize, what you're already intrinsically motivated to do. If you enjoy books and reading, you can read to children, you can read to adults, older adults who maybe are losing their vision and they're in a nursing home or an assisted living. They might really benefit from you reading to them. You might do something like um, go someplace, like a school or any other place, and teach people things that you're good at. It might be that you're great at social media and you start teaching people how to do things on social media. Whatever it is, this is the time to tap into it, because it's going to make you feel really good. It's going to take what you're already motivated to do and allow you to feel like you're paying it forward at the same time. It's like a double um, gift in a way, doing something that you're naturally already motivated to do, that already makes you feel good, that you don't need to get paid for because you would do it anyway, and allowing you to feel the pay it forward feeling that we get when it's a specific time of year and we're feeling like giving mood. Um, so the first question I would always ask somebody, is what are you motivated to do? What do you love? That you don't need any external money, reward to do, or any recognition. Take that, one of those things, you likely have a lot of them, and make a list of them. Put them down on paper. What is it that you really are great at, that you love, that you enjoy a lot, and would do no matter what? Now, think about those and how you could just pay it forward with one individual using that, doing that in some way. You might be able to go to the library in your neighborhood. You might be able to go someplace public and do something with people, volunteer in a STEM lab if you're good at doing things or making things. So harness this. This is the time that I would say to harness something that we're already naturally built to be engaged in, but give yourself the extra gift of having another feeling of being able to make impact with it. So if we're to dive into activities, look at any of the things that we enjoy doing, psychologically, it's very helpful to us. When we're engaged in something that we're intrinsically motivated to do, and we're able to acknowledge that we're doing it and that it's making a difference for somebody else, it's very psychologically beneficial for us. It allows us to feel like we matter in the world, like what we enjoy is something useful for somebody else, that what we enjoy is is helping others. So this is something that right now is the perfect time to tap into this, because you can use the holidays as a jumping point to get yourself out there to do some of these things. And it doesn't cost you a penny really to do it, because you're doing some of the things that you already enjoy. But now's the time to make some of the appointments. If you wanted to go someplace public and just call them and say, hey, do you need anybody to read to people? Do you need anybody to do puzzles with people? Do you need anybody who might like to learn how to take pictures on an iPhone? Do you want to? You could teach people how to text. I know that a lot of older adults need to learn how to do those things. This is a time to do whatever it is that you enjoy. If you enjoy tech or whatever, and you like to fiddle around with things, you might want to teach people that don't know how to do social media, how to get on social media as well. Whatever it is, you might say to yourself, oh, everything I love to do, it isn't that meaningful, but it is. If it's meaningful to you, it's likely meaningful to somebody else. So um, when we talk about intrinsic motivation, this is what, if you look at any athlete, an elite athlete, anybody who's doing something and performing at a high level, they were likely intrinsically motivated to do whatever it was that they did. You know, you hear about people who play sports professionally, and when they were kids, you hear about how they, really couldn't get enough of the sport. They would just do it over and over and over again, practice, practice, practice. They were motivated to do it because they just really enjoyed it. And when we look at research around intrinsic motivation, this is something that really, can help us. If we're able to know what we're motivated by, it can help us to move things forward and move ourselves forward and being more productive, and moving initiatives that we have forward, becoming more productive at work. You could even initiate some of these things at work as well. So if you're at school or if you're at work, you can do things that you're already intrinsically motivated to do, and apply that to the work or school setting. I know that a lot of people mentor. It makes them feel really good to know that they're helping somebody. This is coming up to the end of the semester for a lot of people. If you're a student, this is a great time to start helping others, supporting others in the work. If you're better at a subject than they are, teaching them some of what you know. If you're at work, it's looking around and seeing how you might be helpful to others who maybe aren't in your department, but or even a newer person in the workplace. It might be noticing that somebody who's higher up than you engage in some reverse mentoring, and you're teaching people things that you know really well. Maybe it's about your age group. Maybe it's about, you're Gen Z and you're going to teach a boomer or a Gen Xer something about your generation. These are things that if you feel like you are intrinsically motivated to engage with people in this way, you'll see a lot of benefit for it. So the research that we know about has found that people are more likely to be engaged in an activity and to persevere in the face of a challenge if they're intrinsically motivated to do it. So we know that if you really enjoy something, you're going to even do it when it's hard. That intrinsic motivation is what gets you going. So if you're doing something that that you love, like if you're reading, keep in mind that getting paid to do that isn't always a good thing. That can remove that intrinsic motivation and take that kind of love for it away. And so that's why I always tell people that if you're a mentor and you're getting paid, you're not a mentor. It's going to kind of remove that intrinsic motivation and that pure joy out of that and make it feel more of a burden. So some of the things that are noticed are that if a person, say, is a reader, and somebody says, hey, I'll pay you to read books, a person doesn't want to read as much because it takes away the joy of doing it for themselves and makes it an extrinsically motivated activity. So during this season of the year, when we're calling it the giving season, think about that. Think about everything that you would like to do and keep it intrinsically motivated so that you get to feel good about it. So if you're going to mentor somebody, this is the time of year to do it because you can attach that feeling to the giving season where you may say to yourself, I don't really feel like this is the time that I could give funds, but I could give my time and energy and things that I really enjoy and give it back to somebody else who needs it or wants it. And that's how we can capitalize this and keep it going. Because if you are out doing something that you really are motivated to do, like if you were volunteering somewhere, you'll put in 6 hours. If you were to put in 6 hours of work at, a store doing the same thing, it's going to feel a lot longer to you. It's not going to feel like a pleasurable time. So there are so many ways that intrinsic motivation can be used for give back, volunteering, um, pursuing pursuing a career in a helping profession that oftentimes has a component to it that can have an intrinsic motivation to it. A lot of teachers, people in helping professions might be able to tap into intrinsic motivation in aspects of the work that they're doing. Engaging in activities that support a cause. Right now, you may be able to tap into during the giving season, supporting a cause. And that's going to really help you to engage with your intrinsic motivation. So, people may be intrinsically motivated to engage in activities that support a cause they believe in, like raising money for a charitable organization or campaigning for a social issue. If there's a social issue that you feel really strongly about, that's something that you can tap into your intrinsic motivation with. If there's a cause that you believe in during the giving season, this is exactly the time that a lot of people want to tap into that and really support the cause. It doesn't mean that you have to give money, but you might be helping to raise the funds. So an example is I'm involved in my local Rotary Club and there's a coat drive. And so I was, along with everybody else, putting out the information and how to get people to donate money so that a family could get a full turkey dinner. So it's $40 for a full turkey dinner with all the trimmings for 6 people. And if a person donates $40, that goes towards one full meal. So I felt really good about asking people if they wanted to donate just to one person. And that made me feel good. And I was working towards a charitable cause, one that mattered to me. These are the kinds of things that you could do. It doesn't mean that you have to give money. Not everybody has money. And this giving season can feel overwhelming to people when they feel like, well, I don't have something physical to give and I don't have money to give. Well, you can work on fundraising. You can work on some of the behind the scenes. You can go and actually volunteer on the day that they're giving out the meals, or you can sign up to do those kinds of things. And that is intrinsic motivation. So that's the drive that gets us to want to do that. Because if you were to ask anybody on the street, hey, do you want to go to the grocery store and do some work for 6 hours? Most people would say no, but if you feel like it's attached to a cause that matters to you, you'll do it for no money and feel good about it. That's how we all operate. And that's part of what intrinsic motivation is. So another thing is seeking out opportunities that make a difference. So some people are motivated to seek out opportunities that make positive impact on others or their community. You could support something in your community that it matters to you. Some people do a beach cleanup. They do, cleanup on the roads. It could be anything that matters to you, but that contribution that you make towards a cause is really where we're seeing people tap into their intrinsic motivation. So when we use intrinsic motivation to give back, we're not only getting that great feeling that we normally get from being intrinsically motivated and doing something, but we get the added bonus of feeling like we're fulfilling a purpose. And most people like that. And tapping into this giving season right now, I wanted to talk about this today because we have time. There's time right now to be able to say, I'm going to use the last 6 weeks of the year to tap into whatever it is that motivates me intrinsically. Maybe I'll volunteer. Maybe I'll fundraise for a cause. Maybe I will, maybe I'll go visit people. Maybe I'll teach somebody something. Maybe I'll go read to people. Maybe I'll sing to people because I love singing. Maybe I'll entertain people with dancing. Maybe I will go help bake something somewhere. Whatever it is that gets you excited, that is something that you can tap into now. And you're not too late to go get involved in doing these things now. It's a great time to start to map out, gee, I'd like to, hey, good to see you. It's now a great time to map out what you want the last 6 weeks of the year to be, because you now have this opportunity, no matter what age you are, to get involved in this, whatever it is that you want to do, wherever it is that you want to do it. It could be a library, something in your community. It could be just working with neighbors or family or friends, whatever it is. It's up to you. It's your own personal intrinsic motivation. But if you're able to put that out there, you're going to really feel even better than you normally would. So there are several reasons why giving back can make us really feel good. And here are a couple of, real explanations for it. So the first thing is a sense of accomplishment. Everybody likes to feel a sense of accomplishment, like you did something and that you accomplished something good. And so that when we tap into our intrinsic motivation to do something, we get to feel like we accomplished something. We don't always get that feeling when we're tapping into extrinsic motivation. If we're getting paid to do something, we don't always code that as an accomplishment. We could, but it doesn't feel that in the same way. So right now during the giving season, if you are tapping into your intrinsic motivation to do something, this is going to give you a sense of accomplishment that's going to matter to you. It's going to be a lasting sense of accomplishment. So, when we give back and when we make a positive impact on others, it gives us that feeling that we just made our footprint a little deeper in the world, that we matter in the world. So it gives us a fulfilled feeling as opposed to just checking a box, which is often how we feel with extrinsic motivation. So this can be especially true if we have been able to help someone overcome a challenge or a difficulty. So imagine if you were somebody who couldn't read and you went and you read the newspaper to them. That could feel really good. Imagine if somebody said, "Oh, I really could use some help with something," and you were the one that could help them. That is a feeling of accomplishment that is long-lived. Number 2 is connecting with others. So giving back can provide all kinds of opportunities to connect with others. And then that could be a stepping off point for building relationships, because connection is so important to us. When we have connections, when we feel connected, when we're tapped into others, it is such a buffer for physical illness. And, it helps us with our physical health. It helps us with our emotional health. So by working together towards a common goal with somebody else, we can feel a sense of community and belonging. And you can't put a price on that. That is so valuable. And we've seen that over the course of a lifespan, that when we can put a buffer between, against loneliness, that we can see people living longer, healthier, happier lives. So connection should not be overlooked. And number 3 is boosting self-esteem. Everyone feels a boost in self-esteem when you help somebody else out or you do something that's really good. Your self-esteem it gives you like a nice kick of positivity. So when we give back, we may also feel a sense of pride and self-esteem that we get from, really feeling like we made a difference. So when we help others, we can feel that we're making a difference in the world, that we are contributing to something larger than ourselves. This is in all kinds of things. This is when people get out and they work on, voting or political things. They can feel that. It's if you have a special, a lot of people will, do walkathons or run for a cause. These sorts of things can help with boosting self-esteem because one person can make a difference. One person can make change in the world. And that's tied to intrinsic motivation. If you are doing it because you want to make that difference, not for pay or something extrinsically motivating you, that's going to help to boost your self-esteem. And number 4 is an increased well-being. So listen, every time we go out and we make a difference, it's a lasting boost to our well-being. So research has shown that engaging in activities that benefit others really has positive effects on our own well-being. So volunteering has been linked to increased life satisfaction. Mentoring has been linked with increased life satisfaction. When we look at all of these, research shows that it helps to improve mental health and physical health benefits. It's amazing to me to think that it's something that we enjoy and love so much can have such long-lasting, lifelong effects on us. And we just need to be reminded to tap into the things that we already enjoy doing and to connect with others and to do something that's going to be having a lasting effect for us. So this is a giving season. I hope that this is a time when you will tap into your intrinsic motivation, that you will give yourself that gift of lifelong health and mental well-being by doing the things that you already love and doing it with others so that you can make a difference in the world and for yourself. So that's my message for today. I'd love to hear if anybody's going to do anything for the giving season. I'd love to know if anybody has any plans for that. Share it with me tomorrow when I come back on or today. My name is Deborah Heiser. I'm an applied developmental psychologist. I specialize in midlife and aging. I'm the author of The Mentorship Edge, and I am a contributing expert for Psychology Today. And I also have my own Substack called The Right Side of 40. So if you're interested in anything I ever talk about here, you can usually find me writing about it in those places. But I hope you all have a great giving season, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4.